You're listening to the 49 Carats Podcast, a 49ers Goldmine production with Stephanie Sanchez.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Podcast. I'm your host, Steph, and as always, we're keeping it rolling with these prospect spotlight interviews. Joining me today is Fort Hays wide receiver Josh Okechukwu. How's it going today, Josh?
How you doing? I'm doing good.
We'll get right into it. So you finished your collegiate career at Fort Hays, but you started playing some JUCO at Nassau. So tell me about your journey from Nassau to Fort Hays.
Pretty much, I graduated from Woodrow Wilson High School in Washington, D.C. I was pretty much under-recruited, just how things went for me. It was very political on my end, but very under-recruited. I actually went to a university out of high school, Shepherd University. I actually redshirted there. And then once I realized that I wanted, to just see how good I could really get, I decided to leave Shepherd University and then come to Nassau Community College in Long Island, New York. And I pretty much just came to Nassau, just expecting, just everything I believed in myself. Because I wanted a different notch for myself, a different lane for myself. And I pretty much was, just being honest, just very immature coming out of high school. Knew I can play with anybody on any level, but I just knew I had to put my right pieces together. So once I left Shepherd and decided to go to JUCO, it kind of humbled me because it's like, okay, I'm pretty much a nobody right now. But if I am who I say I am, I can dig myself out this hole. So me coming to Nassau, it was pretty much just, just a grind, just a humble process. Because my first year in 2018, I was pretty much a role player. Wasn't really much of a factor on the team. But it was a situation where I knew, but I actually acted like a starter. There was habits I wanted to change for myself coming to Nassau. So my first year, we went to a bowl game, was a role player. Didn't really do too much, but did enough. Anything my coach needed me to do, I did it. And then that's once I knocked the rust off that first year after my redshirt year at Shepherd, knocked the rust off my first year, had a great spring, had an even better summer, and just took off my second year. I think my first year I wore number 81, then my second year I wore number 1. And that Nassau wearing number 1 jersey is earned. Nobody can request it. It's a situation where if the coach believes that you put in the work and you're actually performing rather than talking, you're awarded it. Because they actually gave me, it's crazy, they actually beginning of the season, they gave me number 81. And I was like, okay, cool, same number, whatever, it's cool. But then that's when they called me back 2 minutes later, like, Josh, come back. You forgot something. I was like, okay, cool. And they threw me the number 1 jersey. So I was excited about that. And that felt good because it was more so that kind of just, just exemplify what I put in from the spring to the summer, staying up there in New York, being from DC, staying up there from New York, and just wanting better for myself. So when I got the number 1 jersey, my second year, I got comfortable in the system. I grew in the system, and I just took over being the leading receiver.
So that was at Nassau, but at Fort Hays, did you consider any other school besides Fort Hays? What made that the right fit for you?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much, I'm not gonna lie. Just like every other kid, we were all pushing for Division I coming out of JUCO, and I definitely had the Division I talent and ability. A lot of coaches from Division I all over the country wanted me, but the process coming out. I came out December 2018. I finished JUCO in 3 semesters. COVID came, and me coming out of high school and going to my first school, I actually took a gap year in between that because I actually lost my mom to breast cancer. So I had to really just, be an older brother and just help my dad out as much as I can, but still have my mind and heart ready on football. But I just knew I had to take a break. So me being out that first year and then coming back to JUCO and then COVID, it kind of played into a factor because I actually was committed to Jackson State under Deion Sanders. And I was committed there. And then once I was going through the process of Jackson State, I told them, I was already up front with them, let them know what NCAA is telling me and about my eligibility. And because the reason why I was out earlier in my career of my 5-year time clock, it was a personal hardship waiver. So they were pushing for it, but unfortunately I got denied. And I didn't even see that as me being denied because I'm a very spiritual guy. I just saw that, okay, maybe God had a different journey for me. So once I had to leave Jackson State for the first month when I was there, pretty much I connected with a guy during my recruiting process that knew the receiver coach at Fort Hays. And it was pretty much a business decision of more so. I told myself, if I can't go D1, I need to go to a top tier like a top Division II like division, and MIAA is definitely a top tier division. And I played under Albert McCray at Fort Hays and Coach Chris Brown at Fort Hays, and then I just pretty much just trusted the process and trusted God going to Fort Hays all the way to from DC all the way to Fort Hays, Kansas. So that was a big little situation I had to go to. So
Yeah, well, sorry to hear about your mother, and I'm
appreciate it.
took the time to, take care of yourself, mentally and take that break.
Hmm.
Too. That's always important. Uh,
Definitely.
from Wausau Nassau to Fort Hays, is there a specific year that you felt you really came into your own as a football player?
At we took from Nassau to Fort Hays.
Well, just your entire collegiate career, like when the game
Okay.
kind of just started to slow down for you a bit.
Okay, so I can honestly say, playing ability wise, the 2019 season at Nassau was for me. That like the 2019 season at Nassau, like I said, as an athlete, we all have this inner belief in ourselves. But it's one thing when you believe it, when people see it, and it's one thing to actually go do it. So, and especially how my first year went to my second year. I'm gonna be honest with you, no one expected except me and my family or my friends that believed in me for me to really explode the way I did. Like nobody did. I could just say that now, looking back in the past. And I don't blame them because, like I said, I was knocking the rust off my first year. But for me to have the leap I did in game ability wise, I feel like 2019 at Nassau. Now at Fort Hays, I personally feel like what helped me at Fort Hays, even though things didn't pan out as pretty as it did, mentally as an athlete at Fort Hays, only because I can honestly say my receiver coach at Fort Hays had me on a pedestal where he didn't want mediocrity. And it was one thing to have it for the whole room, but if you talk to anybody of my class members, like just hypothetically, like they'll tell you, like he used to put me in an individual lane of my own. Like, like everybody can run a slant route on verse press coverage, but if I didn't hit that third step or if I didn't use my body enough a certain way, I will get like punished in a different way where it's like I may have push-ups or I may have an extra sprint. And at first I was mad, like, dang, bro, like I caught the balls, first down, everything. But when I look back at it now, he was kind of wired. He was trying to wire some of me where it's like, yo, listen, I don't care if you catch the ball, details. So I feel like for Fort Hays, and a lot, Fort Hays was a storm at Fort Hays. There was a lot going on. We had a lot of versus the team, but what I took from it and how I applied myself to God during that time frame, I feel like because play wise I could play, but mentally when I first got to Fort Hays, because of what I was seeing differently in a different system, I had to match how I played mentally too. So my first year was really, really good. But then my second year, I had to battle adversity with my hamstring and everything. But as time was going on, I was really becoming like mentally locked in on a different type time where, I'm watching film like longer than usual for the little things. Like, usually I'm not gonna lie to you, in my AA, we play against tall DBs all the time. Like DBs probably average out to be like at least 6'1" to 6'2" every time, and I'm 6'3". So every week I'm going to see the most physical and most tall receiver DB all the time. So that's kind of a task. So it's like I can't just go watch film and say, oh, they're in cover two. This is what he does. I have to really watch details. Like, okay, because we're the same height, how can I beat him? I know I'm physical, but how can I beat him? So I used to pay attention to little things like watch the DB's tendencies, watch the whole defense tendencies, or for example, our playbook, learn the slash playbook. Like if I was an X, I'll know the Y, the H, and the Z. Because I was always a guy where it's like if I didn't know a play in the game, I want somebody to help me out. And once I noticed that life doesn't work like that, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna put the pressure on me to know every play. So it was a point in time for my first year, second year, JUCO, because JUCO, let's be real, JUCO, you're looking at your assignment, that's what I gotta do, this is the coverage, this is what I gotta do. But like I told you, mentally and mature wise, I just personally feel like, okay, let me just, take that goals for myself. So I was knowing everybody's route, even like the calls for the line, the calls for the running back, just little things like that. And I wouldn't really shout it out and say I know it, but I would like sometimes take mental notes in practice and be like, okay, he called this because of this line doing this, or this guard's doing this, or this tackle's doing this, and the running back has to block this way. So it was so that's why the plays came really slower for me, So
yeah.
But so I can honestly say, like, just me been trusting in God since the time I just started playing football. I feel like Nassau was a place for me to, know who I am in game wise, but Fort Hays was a place for me where I had to become a professional early mentally. You know what I'm saying? Just be a guy where it's like your number might not get called, it might not be your day, but still be locked into the point where you could be the next. You know what I'm saying? At any moment. I just had that chip
Yeah.
on my shoulder all the time because I just wasn't a fan favorite growing up. So that's just what I've learned from just the 2 phases of JUCO to my last 2 years at Fort Hays.
And it's definitely valuable to have both. I mean, I'm glad you pointed out that distinction that, finding yourself as a receiver or as a player, isn't always just about the playing side. It's also the mental side that you pointed out. So
Really, yeah.
yeah, thank you for pointing that out. So you were invited to the Tropical Bowl. You
Hmm.
participated in it. Congrats on that, by the way.
Appreciate it.
What was that experience like for you? What did it feel to get that invite and just be out there with a different level of competition?
Man, when I tell you, like, it's nothing but God. Like, I don't take no credit because I'm gonna be honest with you, like, transparent. When I was going to Jackson, like, State, like when that was about to be a thing for me, like, it's like I said, it's one thing to believe it, but when things start to pan out a certain way, you're like, oh yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, it's lit because it's just like I just knew who I was as a player. I knew the culture of HBCU. I knew what Dion was trying to bring. So I wasn't more so pressed to play with Dion, and I was more so pressed to get that much better being around him because I was just like, okay, if I'm a raw receiver like this now, and he even told me too, like, yeah, he said you're very very good, but when we polish you up, it's going to be a nightmare. That's when I was like, I was eager like to just work out and just grind and be in that light. But when I went to Fort Hays, I just couldn't go and went to Fort Hays and still got to the place where I know like I still probably the guy being at Jackson State. I was just grateful. I was honestly grateful. So and it reminded me that because like I said, because I went to the FCS Bowl first, and then that's when that's when I got selected to do the Tropical Bowl, and it's like I remember when the coordinator Jim Collins like put the whole map of all Division I schools there. I didn't see my school nowhere. You know what I'm saying? My school wasn't even on the map. Out of like 100, it was like out of 100, like 19 people there. It was only 7 people from D2. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah.
for me to be in that pool, it just once again validates who I am as a player, who I believe in myself, and two, I can play with anybody. You know, because at the end of the day, it's like playing JUCO, playing D2, and still get to this point, you're still playing with that underdog mentality, that underdog personality. Because when I got to the Tropical Bowl, it went from okay, like probably people not talking to me, stuff like that, to by the end of the day, yo, bro, what's that logo on that helmet? I don't know what that helmet is. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then
There you
people had to
go.
really like ask me, and scouts were pulling me left and right and saying, oh, like, yeah, you're from Fort Hays, blah, 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 blah. So, like I said, it felt good. It felt good because the one thing about me, I always told myself I knew I was a dog, like from day one. And you know what I'm saying? I know I have a lot to improve on and grow on, but I believe in me, man. Like, I believe in it. Like, and for me to be at Fort Hays, all the way in Fort Hays, Kansas, and be the only one on that team. And I played with All Americans. Like I had an All American tight end, All American receiver, stuff like that. And I was the only one to get that. It wasn't no coincidence. You know, I was very humble about it, but I also knew that it's not a time to get comfortable because this is a long process. This is the beginning of a long process. So I was excited, and for me to perform the way I did, and you know, in practice, in the games, and the one-on-ones, and everything, it just like I said, it just validated that man, I belong. Everything I believed as a kid, I knew it. So I realized later the why my journey the way it was. I'm a strong individual, stuff like that, but I know, like I told you, if I get my mental right, my heart right, and my
Hmm.
physicality of the game right, it will all be there. It will all be there.
Well, it sounds like you put Fort Hays on the map at the Tropical Bowl, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, there we go.
nah,
There we go.
definitely,
So
definitely.
I do know that for a lot of guys, these All-Star Bowl games, they're kind of like their first introduction to NFL coaching. So
Hmm.
what was that adjustment like for you? Like, did you
Yeah.
notice a difference at all?
So luckily at Fort Hays, our coach grinded us crazy, like crazy. So, and that's why I said like God works in mysterious ways. Literally, like when I tell you on average at Fort Hays, on average, like we have like for every game, we probably have a new set of plays for each game. On average, about 30 to 31 plays every game.
Wow.
We play 11 game season. And the one thing I used to always tell myself when I first came to Fort Hays, because I saw my binder and I was just like, bro, what? Like, and mind you, like so, like Fort Hays, they give you a binder, right? And
Yeah.
it's already have installs. They have like 13 installs, and it's like probably like 10 plays to install. So it's like that's the foundation of plays. And you know how
Right.
football goes.
Yeah.
That's probably like the camp plays. But when we get into like week by week, oh, this and this, you get a whole different play. So it's like my junior year, I was kind of frustrated. I was kind of nervous, like, dang, like this is kind of crazy. But then I told myself, I was like, okay, but bro, if you're trying to play in the NFL or any professional league, bro, it's going to be 10 times, or you never know how deep the playbook is going to be. So start to, don't look at it like, oh my God, all right, look at it like, all right, cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I got to play more extra time. So junior year was cool, but my senior year, I dominated the playbook. Of course, I had like little miscues here and there because, like I said, Fort Hays was a system where, like, based on coverages, like you had to change your route. So, like, maybe I messed up here and there. Like I said, I'm not perfect, but for the most part, 90% of the playbook, I knew it. You know what I'm saying? I knew it. And it's like, so play-wise, coming to the bowl games, because like I said, it was different concept names and everything. But it's like, Fort Hays taught me that playbooks are more so about concepts. So once I figured out the concept of, and they told us this is an NFL style playbook, like rookie mini camp type style for this 3 days we're here. So, I really like attacked it because I put myself through the Fort Hays trial and I conquered that. So I was like, I told myself, okay, if I could do that, I could definitely do this. And like I said, this is something I can prove myself. If I want to belong, you got to be a student of the game on and off the field. So when we got the playbook, I was like, ooh, okay, different. But once I figured out the concept, it was cake. It was cake.
So when your coach adds like 30 new plays a week, is that just adding new wrinkles to like the existing foundation, or is really just coming up with things on the fly like that?
Okay, yeah. So it depends. So like sometimes, okay, so I can honestly say beginning of the season is fresh, like fresh new plays. Towards the middle, towards the back end, he'll bring plays from camp. And then, like, he may adjust a route or he may make it deeper, but it'll have a whole different name. So, like, for example, let's just say, like, okay, one of our plays we had was called, like, red poker or whatever. Let's say, like, anything, red poker. That's a camp play, right? But then he'll probably it's like I have a high post, 15 yards, whatever. You know what I'm saying? From the extra Z. But then he'll come, like, middle of the season, and he'll be like, okay, yeah, we have poker again, but this time it's called red joker poker. That's when the Z will get motion. He will get motion into the slot, and then he'll have the post from the slot. Like, it's just like, you know what I'm saying, little things that he'll change. And it's like within the new plays, there'll be some of those, but then there'll be some of those plays that are just new too. So it was a whole pack of this different stuff. Like it could be the same plays from camp, or it could be a whole different set, or it could be a mix of both. So, but I always, but like I said, I'm not gonna lie to you, it prepared us crazy. Like, because one thing about Fort Hays is like your coach will know if you don't study it. Like, he'll know.
Oh yeah.
And the crazy thing about it, he wouldn't give us days. So like we'll have a game on Saturday. We'll have we'll probably be we'll be have film on Sunday. No, we'll be off Sunday, then have film Monday morning, and then we'll come back after workouts in the evening and have a meeting, and then we'll get the install for practice on Tuesday. So like you really don't even have like days. It's like a night to learn all those plays. And I'm telling you, like as people came to Fort Hays, it went from struggling to like it became second nature to this. Like when we got plays under 20 plays, we were like, whoa, okay, it's lit. Like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, like for real. But I'm telling you, like all my officers, they know, like we used to get these plays, we used to be like this, bruh. But I mean, listen, what you gonna do? Like, our coach is strict. If you don't know it, it's okay. The person behind you, he'll play right there. So, like I said, the system at Fort Hays, it's like I said, it was rough, but definitely worth it when it came to just, the preparing your mind for playbooks and just concepts and just reading keys while running the route. It was a lot that I gained from Fort Hays.
Right, because a lot of guys jumping from college to the NFL really struggle with that. Like that, I feel like that's one of the main things that they struggle with. So feels like you're definitely prepared and on your way. You did get a chance to meet with the 49ers, right?
I did. Yeah, I did.
So
Tropical Bowl.
I could see why they would connect with you, because I feel like the 49ers playbook is pretty like complex too, and Kyle Shanahan kind of works in a similar way to like what you mentioned. Your coach was like kind of tough on you, but it's because he knows he can push you a little bit more. He knows your potential kind of thing. So I could definitely see that. But how did you feel like that meeting went for you?
I mean, like I said, I went to the FCS Bowl, so FCS Bowl was like a rough draft for me for the Tropical Bowl, and it was a cool experience. I mean, they asked me a lot of questions about like we were talking about my journey and just everything. Because the one thing that I can say, a lot of scouts did say about me, they love my size. They love the fact that my size and I can run. So, just they were pretty much just getting a feel about me, just saying where I come from and what I'm about, It was I wouldn't say it was long. It wasn't short. It was pretty brief, but it was just like straight to the point. But they were very cool, like very, very cool. This guy was very, very cool, and just telling me that, like just give me the insight of just, what I'm saying, what to prepare for, and just, but at the end of the day, be who you are. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you have
Yeah.
to really be just very confident in yourself, because like I said, this game can really deteriorate you if you let it. So it's just like, I personally feel like every scholar that I talked to, every person that reached out to me on a phone call or just interviews after, it was very cool. But they all said the same thing, just pretty much that they love my side from the get go, and they really believe that, if I really apply myself, I can really be in the league for a long time, and not just be in there, but just do things in there. So it
Yeah.
felt good. It felt good. It felt good.
Yeah, like, okay, so I definitely know that your size pops out. You're 6'3", and last I checked, you were 220 pounds, right? So are you
Hmm.
still at that level, or are you
Yeah,
maintaining that?
I'm not gonna lie to you. Ever since I started pro combine training, pro day training, like I've changed my diet to a vegan diet, and I've actually got up to 223 with less body fat. So
That's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
I actually feel lighter, but like on the scale, like I'm just a little, like I'm heavier, like on the scale, and it feels good. The way I run, the way I work out,
yeah.
just I've cleansed my body. I ain't gonna lie to you, I have a sweet tooth. I love candy, love all that, but my track coach, he just put me on a regimen where he taught me about his lifestyle being a vegan, so I was open to it. Some things were very nasty, some things were very, very good, but I just realized that, okay, this is something that it's just a little sacrifice where I want to do, and I've seen the piece of performance, that the transition, how it translates, and I'm starting to fall in love with it. I'm starting to fall in love with it, especially because just the way I move weight now, because everything with us is about moving weight fast. And I was always a strong guy, but the way I move it efficiently now, I don't get as tired. I don't really, like, be as sore. It's just, so I've gained a regimen of just being more so plant based and stuff like that. So it's been good. It's been
That's
good.
awesome. That's awesome. It sounds like it's working for you.
Yeah.
When is your pro day, by the way?
So right now, my agent, he's looking to, cause my school one at Kansas City, back in Kansas City, regional one, is March 30th, but he's trying to schedule me. My agent is working things out, because there's a rule where you can have a pro day in a different radius of where your hometown is. So we're looking to be
Yeah.
at University of Maryland March 29th.
Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, cool. Yeah, I'm writing that down because I'm like, I want to follow along. I want to make sure that I
Yeah,
stay tuned to
definitely.
that and see how that goes. But what's been training going like for you? I know you said you changed your diet, but what's like a typical training day looking like for you right now?
Okay, so yeah, we're at it 6 days a week. So it's more so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, we're up working out at least by 5:30 in the morning. By 5:30 in the morning, after I'm working out, midday, we're always doing some midday recovery wise. So I may be on boots, I may be stretching, I may be in the pool, I may be doing things for flexibility, I may be doing like yoga, I may be having like a chiropractic session. And then Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, I'm on the track. I'm looking to get faster, fixing my mechanics, stuff like that. So I'm pretty much working out at least 2 times, 3 times a day. My only off day is pretty much Sundays, and Sundays is usually like a yoga, massage, or cupping. It's just for recovery, those off days. But I'm up by 5:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning. I'm probably done the day by like 10 p.m.
There,
Yeah.
that yeah, I know it's a lot of work, and I
Hmm.
hearing, I ask all the players that I've had on for interviews. I ask them all like, how's your training going? And it just always gives me like a new appreciation for, you as athletes, like what you guys go to prepare for these moments in your life.
Yeah,
So
because sometimes I can't even lie to you. It gets very frustrating. I remember the first couple weeks of training, like, I wasn't getting the technique down for, like, especially like running and stuff like that, like, adjusting, because in college you always get up for morning workouts and stuff like that. It's just like, and stuff like winter workouts, stuff like that. But it's one thing. I mean, I think for me it was kind of smooth, even though when I had my first training only because this is something I want to do. Like, this is something I want to do, and
yeah,
I know I don't really see myself as a regular 6'3" receiver. I just don't see it. I don't see myself as a standard receiver. I don't like to talk too much, but I'm really a guy where, I really see myself really being very, very dynamic, even at my size. And I just know there's so much to learn, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I started getting trained at receiver, like really trained at receiver, during the pandemic, 2020. All before that, it was just more so I've been playing football my life, so I was just playing, going out there. But I do one-on-ones with my DB bros, but I just started learning like the technique of things of learning how to play receiver. So I personally feel like for me, if I got to this point being a raw guy, not really being knowledgeable of how to play receiver for real, and I'm getting there now, I feel like I feel like I really do a lot of big things. So for me, it was just like, yeah, this process is definitely rigorous. It's definitely a lot for sure. Even when I told my cousins what I'm doing, they're like, "What? Really? Like what? Like that's like why?" I was just like, "Bro, you got to do it. You got to do it, you know." And especially this is all for one day, like you know what I'm saying, just to perform
I
for one
know.
day. But it's like you appreciate it when you're in training and you see the results for yourself. That's
Yeah.
the most validating part about it because it's like I started training like before the bowl game, but I had to simmer down a little bit because I had to get ready for the Tropical Bowl. But once after the Tropical Bowl was done, I got hit the ground running, and we've been at it to the point where it's even March now. Like sometimes I be even forgetting the days. Like it's March already, so I'm more so excited because I know we put the work in. I know we did, and I'm falling in love with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot though, but it's definitely worth it, especially when you know like who you could be as an athlete. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know you said you don't really see yourself as the typical 6'3" receiver. What are some guys, either current NFL players or retired, that you kind of
Mhm.
model your game after or have just watched a lot of?
Yeah, it's crazy. I had this conversation with people all the time, so I was really prepared for this question. So I have a category. So
Okay.
all time. I have an all time when I was young, premier wide receiver. Then I have a new age receiver that I like.
Okay.
So all time, To
T.O.
6'3", 225, big guy that can run. He can run
Yes.
past you, physical. Definitely play the same way. Like you saying. Growing up, Des Bryant. Just because,
Okay.
only because, like I said, he wasn't a guy that would had the finesse to get off, like, or had the finesse, but he's gonna go be gritty and grab the ball, like out your head, out, like he's gonna get the job done in the gritty, nasty, savage way. That's why I love Des Bryant, like love Des Bryant. But premier though, like the receiver, I see myself like really playing like all around, like yeah, Julio Jones.
Okay.
Only because in JUCO, even when in high school, I played the slot. I played outside. I have got handoffs before for first downs. I have been in the backfield before to get a first down. Like just very dynamic in ways where I don't see no limitations in my game. The same. That's why I love Julio. Like I hate the fact that he's declining right now because I know the injuries. Because it really hurts my heart. But I really love Julio Jones. Like when he was in Atlanta, I loved Julio Jones. I feel like we had the same frame, true 6'3", true like 220, just very strong, very explosive, and just can just do everything. Get handoffs, catch slants, run down the field. He block for sure. I love blocking, so he does that all. But now my new age receivers, you gotta love AJ Brown and DK Metcalf. Got to.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Got
The
to.
size thing with the Metcalf, you're like, yeah, I
Yeah,
could
got
totally see
to,
that.
got to.
Yep.
I kind of like AJ Brown a little bit more than DK,
Yeah.
only because with AJ, like DK, he's that guy for sure. We're not gonna, he's a specimen for sure. But AJ, like I said, more dynamic. Like you can put him in the slot, go catch a
Hmm.
deep ball. You can give him a slant, he'll probably crib that. Like AJ Brown can really like, he's really, really, really nice. So those guys I watch, but I watch T.O. documentary all the time. I know about heart. I watch Des Bryant's all career highlights all the time. I watch Julio's. I love Julio in Atlanta. I watched everything from Atlanta from when he came in 2011 to when he left, and then I watched DK. I've been watching DK and AJ since Ole Miss. So it's just I always watch guys in my frame.
Yeah.
So it's just yeah, for me to be 6'3", 220 pounds, yeah, that's what I watch. And he can run. That's the only guys I watch.
That's awesome. Those are all
Mm,
some great guys to look up to for sure. Well, Josh,
yeah.
last question for you. What is a team, what is a fan base getting with Josh?
You're getting a guy where they believe in themselves no matter what. You're getting a guy that, has been through adversity, but to the point where he loves it now, to the point where you're gonna get a guy that may even surprise you, like it may even surprise himself. You're getting an overall. I really feel like I'm a superstar in the making, only because being a D2 guy, I may come in unknown, but my life has shown me that I may not get in the same way these guys may get in, but I will last longer. I would do things where like you may not know me year one, but you'll know me year two, year three, year four. So I feel like with them, you're kind of getting a mystery box with me. But just know at the mystery box, there's going to be a wonderful prize coming out of it. But you're getting a guy like, you're just getting a talented guy who just, when you see me, you'll just know like he has all the intangibles. It's not really gonna be a surprise that he's doing it. It's just more so like where has he been? So you're getting a guy who just works hard first. Just know that never took the opportunity for granted. Man of faith for sure. So that's not even a question because without him, I would not even be having an interview right now at all. So you're just getting a guy, all around guy, just a good person who just wants to represent and impact the youth in ways where, and the NFL, I know they say it's 1%, but bro, you could be that 1%. Like you can really be that 1%. If you truly believe, give it to God and just really push. Even if you don't believe in God, just believe in yourself to the point and you work at it though. Like I really believe that if you really put the work in and you really just, keep yourself focused and sometimes realign yourself, you're gonna get it. So I've learned that my calling is to make it this far, not only for myself, but to the people behind me, just the city of DC, just those kids who don't have the true guidance and just everything. So you're really getting just a all around well-rounded guy. I can say more, but it's just I like to show it. I can't really say too much. I like to show it. So just know whoever gets me, just know it's definitely a steal for sure.
I love
For
that
sure.
attitude, and I definitely like the mystery box analogy. That's a
Yeah,
good one. But
definitely,
Josh,
definitely.
it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you today. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. And again, best of luck on your pro day on the next few
Appreciate it.
months and beyond. I'm gonna be
Appreciate it.
following along.
I'm
Uh,
a, I'm a send, I'm a send, listen, we plan on doing great things. I'm gonna send you my results. I'm gonna send you my
let's
results.
go. Yes, I'd love to
Definitely,
see it.
definitely,
Thank
definitely.
you. And thank you
Appreciate it.
to everyone who tuned in. If you enjoyed this interview, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I have more content like this all throughout before the draft and whatnot. So make sure you guys have those notifications on so you always know when I go live. For now, have a good rest of your Thursday evening, folks. Peace.
Have a good one.